Hi, I'm Eddy. This is Sascha Segan. We're on PCMag Live today. We're going to run down some news items for you, take a reader question, then we're going to pull off an item from here in the PCMag Labs and tell you a little bit more about that. So the big news, we've got an update published in the Wall Street Journal today, an update on the T-Mobile Sprint merger. Apparently the Department of Justice, Sascha is not pleased already, the Department of Justice has apparently contacted the CEO of SoftBank and Sprint to sort of give them a hint that this might not be the best idea. I'll just let you take over.
Okay, so according to the Wall Street Journal's unnamed sources, DOJ officials told the CEOs of SoftBank and Sprint that a merger with T-Mobile would be viewed with skepticism. And we kind of knew this already because in April, the DOJ wrote a letter to the FCC saying that we need 4 nationwide carriers here in the US. This has been a consistent position of the Obama administration for the 3 years since they shot down the AT&T T-Mobile merger. So basically, the DOJ said to SoftBank, you have a snowball's chance in hell of getting this merger through. But Masayoshi Son, of course, believes he is the most powerful snowball in the universe. So he thinks he can still get this through somehow, and he's continuing on with it. This merger looks like a mess. It would be a $31 billion merger. The Wall Street Journal says it would be financed with junk bonds. So that means debt everywhere, debt for everybody, no infrastructure investment available. It's just so Masayoshi Son can feel like he is the head of the largest mobile carrier in the universe. What a mess. So obviously I am hoping that the regulators shoot this down. This will proceed. We'll see what sort of deal the regulators make with Son, what sort of things they want from him, and but hopefully he'll just put this idea away and we won't have to hear about this next week. Fat chance.
Yeah, I was about to say, you seem pretty skeptical that this is going anywhere anytime soon, but I suppose we'll just have to wait and find out. In other news, there's a 3D printer mutual fund going around in case you want to invest in the profitable Yoda head industry, although I'm being far too dismissive of this. 3D printing obviously is great for prototyping, and it's being used in the automotive industries and other major industries to make singular components.
Well, and this week we heard about a carbon fiber 3D printer,
yeah, that's right.
Which seems to be one of the first 3D printers on a consumer or small business basis that can actually build things that you might want to use for something and not like spoons made out of plastic that melt in hot soup.
I love those.
Yeah, but the thing about this mutual fund, though, is you got to see who the backers are. And so the mutual fund was started by Alan Meckler, formerly of Meckler Media, who now runs Media Bistro and runs trade shows based on 3D printing and Bitcoin. It is the second in command of the fund is his son. And on the list of independent directors is this guy, Mark Moyer, who was the CFO and restructuring officer for Ziff Davis during a very dark period in Ziff Davis's history when the company was falling apart.
We're going into this, huh?
So I look at this list of guys running this 3D printing mutual fund, and 3D printing mutual fund isn't a bad idea. But are these guys necessarily the right people to invest your money with? I'm a little hesitant there.
Well, I'm glad that we're finally 3D printing mutual funds, and maybe we'll finally be able to 3D print me a sense of empathy, but my cold, dead heart doesn't look forward to it. So in other news, Snowden, Edward Snowden, the man who has leaked, I think, tons and tons of NSA documents, has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize by some members of the, the Norwegian Parliament. 2 members of the left-wing Socialist Norwegian Parliament have nominated this fellow. And this is interesting for, a number of reasons, but it really underlines that anyone can be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. I think you said there were 259 nominees last year. Vladimir Putin has been nominated in the past. And well, I personally think that Snowden has made this entire dialogue about the NSA possible, but it's a very controversial decision to even nominate the guy.
No, I think Edward Snowden has done some great things. I think it's amazing the dialogue that he's started about surveillance in this world. But this is one of the weird things about the Nobel Prizes, how they're kind of owned by Norway, which is this strange little oil-rich country of like 12 people, off in the North Sea, and yet they have this gigantic, the Nobel Prizes have this gigantic visual impact upon the world. So these, I don't know how seriously to take the nomination by the 2 members of the Socialist Left Party, which at least, I assume it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And, they're at least being consistent here. I guess the Socialist Left Party approves of what Edward Snowden did, but still, you know, I'll take this with a grain of lutefisk or whatever it is, a grain of whatever you have up there.
I really hope lutefisk does not come in grains, but if nothing else, this is forcing the issue of Snowden's continued evasion of U.S. law enforcement. I know one of the big things people talk about right now is whether or not he should be given amnesty or forgiven, given everything that he's disclosed. So that's going to be a discussion that will continue in this country, regardless of whether or not he wins. But we're going to move on to a reader question right now. We have a question from Steve, who wants to know if the Able Planet True Fidelity active noise canceling headphones are any good. Now, we saw a Groupon for this for about $39. They retail on Amazon for about $59 after some heavy discounting. And our reviewer, Jamie Lindino, says that generally you don't get good noise cancellation for under $150. Now, this is kind of right on the cusp of that at full price, but we have reviewed other headphones by this company in the past. We gave out their higher end model for $350. We gave it 4 stars, so it might be pretty good, but we're just not sure right now. However, if you are curious about noise canceling headphones, if you buy through Amazon, you can generally return those things pretty easily, or you could forget noise cancellation altogether and go with over-the-ear headphones that have passive noise cancellation. They just block out sound because they're cupped directly onto your ear.
Yeah, I have to say, I have a good pair of earbuds, and as long as your earbuds have flexible tips which fit into your ear canal properly, they just block a lot of noise passively, and you can get good sets of those kinds of earbuds easily in the $70 to $100 range.
Now, you see, I'm on the opposite end of that. I'm very skeptical of earbuds. My hearing has been destroyed. I blame earbuds for them, so I always go with the over-the-head ones. But there's a lot of options out there. We've got some new lists about headphones up on the website right now, so be sure to check those out. I'm sure we'll be able to help you, Steve. And lastly, but certainly not least, is this. Sascha, what is this?
This is the Nokia Lumia 1320. Turn it around. They have to see the back.
All right.
Okay, I'm reviewing this thing, and yesterday afternoon, as I was reviewing it, I would get a little sleepy in the afternoon. I would just look at it, and it would wake me up. This is Nokia's low-cost Windows Phone phablet, and it's kind of a curiosity here in the US. It's only being sold unlocked through Amazon for about $425, which is probably more than this phablet is worth, but it's a
I think I turned it on. It took
yeah, but as I said, it's being sold in limited quantities here in the US. You have this big 6-inch screen, 5-megapixel camera on the back. What makes it a low-cost phablet? Well, it's a lower resolution screen than you might see in other 6-inch devices. It's 720p, not 1080p. Lower quality camera than on the Lumia 1520, and it only has 8 gigs of storage. And that's the one thing that's making me feel a little bit nervous about recommending this device to anyone, because you can fill up 8 gigs of storage with some pretty good Xbox Live games pretty quickly. Still, though, I'm in the middle of reviewing this Lumia 1320. It's definitely a good-looking device. You'll see the review up on PCMag.com pretty soon.
So what about the case on that? I mean, we saw Apple introduce brightly colored plastic phones, and was it the Moto X has got the crazy backings that you can get for your devices?
Nokia has been doing brightly colored plastic phones for much longer than Apple has. Nokia and HTC both have done these great runs of brightly colored devices. But yeah, the 1320, it comes in a range of colors. This back is removable. You can replace it with 8 different colored backs. I mean, Nokia's history of removable, customizable backs goes back like 20 years. I mean, I remember in the late 1990s, there was this huge aftermarket in replaceable fronts and backs for Nokia phones. So this is just continuing the tradition.
Oh, well, a proud tradition to continue, no doubt. Well, that's all for our show today, and we'll be back tomorrow with even more news and another cool thing from the lab, so tune in.